Hey everyone, I'm Rather Incoherent, and today I want to talk about what I would like to see out of the next campaign. I've spent about an hour thinking now, racking my brain. I don't have enough to say about the campaign and the Investigator expansion separately, but between the two I've got 5. Really, I've got a lot more than 5, but the campaign sort of feels like one overarching thing that I want. It can sort of just be summarized as, I want the next campaign to be good to my preferences. I want it to be polished, unlike Scarlet Keys. I want it to be high difficulty, but not constantly. I want it to have pressure points, like there is in Edge of the Earth, when you shuffle all the enemies in during the first scenario. And then it becomes a massive brawl, and the entire scenario changes. I want pressure points like that. I want it to interact with a known old god. I don't want it to be the Mimics. I don't want it to be Madness Ice Scoop. I don't even know how to describe what's going on in Edge of the Earth. And I really don't have much more than that. I don't have specific expectations or things I want from the campaign. I just want it to be polished, difficult in an interesting way, and interacting with things that we know and care about, instead of making up things. And if you are going to make something up, make up a Mythos god. We made them all up originally, that's where we got them. You don't need to use an original Mythos god. You can make, well, an old one. That's weird that old Mythos god and original Mythos gods are the same thing. But you don't need to use the original Mythos gods. You can make your own original Mythos god. You can do that, that's fine. But if you do, start telegraphing it immediately and give it a name. Don't just have it be a concept. That's not engaging. People don't like concepts, people like things. Now, coming over to the Investigator expansion, one thing I really want is I don't want another Carson. Carson is a fighter, or rather, Carson is a guardian that isn't a fighter, and that's the problem. I want to see a basic gun-based, fist-based fighter for Guardians again. Because that archetype, you printed 5 characters for it, and it's just not even very diverse or competitive. If you're playing big guns, you should be using a flamethrower, and if you're not, you should be using Cyclopean Hammer, Runic Axe, or a couple other weapons. The endgame state of fighting Guardians is really, really sad right now. So not only would I like to see taboos affecting it a lot, but I would also like to see a Guardian printed with cards that interact with the in-game guns, because that just needs to happen. The card system there is not robust enough. You need more going on. In the same vein, I don't want another book-based normal Investigator for Seekers. This is going to be at odds with something I'm about to say, but I would like to see another Seeker printed. It's either a Gimmick Seeker or a Fighter Seeker or something like that, so that they can justify continuing to not print good cards with Seekers. Analysis was great, but the rest of this is just clue dropping stuff that's not really super optimal in most characters. You need to print new gimmicks and new archetypes for Seekers if you want to print good cards for them. If you print generically good cards, the best class gets better, and that's not okay. So one way to do that is by printing a gimmicky Seeker that's not investigating with book, and another way to do that is by printing archetypes like this. I'm happy with either, I just don't want to see generically good Seeker cards get printed pretty much ever again for the rest of the game's life. And something that I've become incredibly aware of over the course of playing several different foot-based characters recently, I want to see more level 0 support with the Foot Matters archetype, because there isn't any. You have to spend experience to get Cat Burglar, which in my opinion is just a card that should be tabooed to 0 anyway, because it's not a good card. There's basically no consistent way to boost your foot available to rogues, the foot-based Foot Matters class, and that seems criminal when there are multiple ways for Seekers to boost their book. Guardians have beat cops. Only Mystics really have a clear core stat that they can't boost at level 0. And I've always viewed that as being part of Mystics being super optimized, is that they don't get this. The same reason they have bad draw and bad economy. So I would really like to see a way to pump your foot at level 0 for rogues. It doesn't have to be good, but it should be available. The fact that every rogue I'm running that actually trips people is running Trenchcoat, a bad neutral card, is not a good thing. And the last of the 5 things I want to see in the next expansion, I want Seeker Rogue to finally get printed. I want to see Seeker 5, Rogue 2. Now, ideally, in accordance with what I said earlier, this gets printed as a gimmick character, and all the cards for that character don't help the rest of Seekers. And I assume that's going to be the case. I expect that they haven't made this one color combination, it's the last one they're doing, because they know it's busted. The character has more money than God. It has insane draw to enable anything rogues are doing. It has just a Seeker with well connected is already gross, right? And it gets a lot more than that. It'll be the best team support character in the game because it'll have Faustian Bargain in addition to the Seeker stuff. I don't know. Daisy's probably better team support. Mystics get a lot. But whatever you do with the Seeker Rogue, it's gonna be super strong if it's a traditional character. So I'd like to see it finally get printed so I can stop wondering what it'll be, and I would like to see it be a gimmick character. But I don't require that. If they print a Seeker with a Harvey stat line, right? Seeker 5, Rogue 2, 5 in book, 4 in foot, 2 in head, 1 in fist. If they print the most disgustingly optimized character they've ever seen, just like unapologetically broken, I wouldn't mind. I honestly think it would just be funny. Like, this isn't a competitive online game. If they're the best character in the game, then it'll be funny. Like, it's not a problem. You just don't play them anymore unless you want to trivialize content, and that's fine. Some character has to be the best. It may as well be the one that intuitively has the best colors. The main reason I don't want to see that is not because I'd be upset to see a busted, super strong character, but because it would imply they're printing cards that other Seekers can use, and I don't want that. And that's really it. I want to see the next campaign be good and well made and have interesting forms of difficulty. I don't want to see traditional Seeker support. I do want to see traditional Guardian support. I want to see support for Foot Matters at level 0, and I want this single character to finally get printed, because I just want to stop wondering what it'll be. And that's it. Pretty basic things. I don't really have specific things I want to see out of cards. Like, that's not how I view upcoming expansions. I go into it with pretty empty expectations. But I do want to see well-made things fitting nicely into the holes that are currently in the game. And that's really it. I've been rather incoherent. I hope you enjoyed hearing me briefly talk about what I'd like to see out of the next expansion. And if you did, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff really does help the channel grow. In particular, I'd be interested in hearing what you want to see out of the next expansion. And either way, I'll see you in the next one.